Hello everyone, how are you doing? It's another Wisdom Moments on K24 with me, C.J Atemo, the Sage. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that your week is coming along fine. I hope that your life is building up and you are benefiting from all of these treasures that we are placing in your hands, your mind and your heart, and you're working them out and you can actually see the results. Well, still coming to you from the Mayan in Nanyuki, that is Laikipia County. It's a good place to just come and take a break from the city and from wherever you may be. You know, if you are in the western part of Kenya, the heat that is over there, and you just want to have a break, or if you're used to going to the coast and you want a different place, you can always come around to this place. You will find excellent accommodation, great cuisine. You will have activities even for the family, and you'll have a great time. You need a vacation, you know, sometimes. Well, I started talking about living a balanced life and did get into discussing what the balance would be and how to create the balance. And I gave 3 pointers on how to create the balance. I talked about, planning. You've got to plan your activities, plan your day, plan your week, plan your month, plan your 2 months, your 3 months. You've got to plan that. And I did talk about preparation as well, that it is good for you to get ready before you are needed to be ready. There are certain things that you've got to do before you get onto the stage of your performance or presentation, so you need to prepare. Preparation will reduce the time that you need in doing certain things. And then I talked about prioritization. Today, I'm going to pick up from that and give you the nugget number 4, which is practice what you have planned. A lot of people have great ideas. They've got great thoughts. They've got great plans. And sometimes they even will tell you what their priorities are, and they will even prepare. But they are very poor at execution. You've got to be a practitioner of the things that you desire to see. If you want to go and do something, go ahead and do it. You can prepare for it in your mind. You can prepare for it emotionally. You can talk about it. You can write it down, but if you never put your foot forward, then nothing will really happen. It's important to be a practitioner of things. Now, why that is important is that you avoid procrastination. And you see, whenever you procrastinate, you create a crisis of the backlog of things that you have not done. So when you're a practitioner, not just somebody who dreams and believes, but you're somebody who actually practices what you desire to see, what you do is that you reduce your workload, which means that you free up space for the future and time for the future for other things. With every task that you undertake and with every job that you complete, you free up time for the future. So whenever you have the strength and the energy, whenever you have the drive, it's important for you to get out there and practice. Practice the thoughts that you have. Practice the plans that you have. Practice out and execute the ideas. Somebody said, and I love it, and I've quoted it somewhere else as well. He said, there's no $1 million idea. It's $1 million execution. We've got people who've got great thoughts in their minds, but they never really become anything because they lack that idea of practice. Well, the next thing that you've got to do, which is going to be my nugget number 5, is to pace yourself. Pace yourself. You've got to know how much you can do within a certain time span. You've got to know how much you can do within a day, within a week, within a morning. Every one of us has a saturation point. There's people who can work intensely for about 3 hours, and then when they get there, that's all they can do. If you keep them working, they will not be productive. So you've got to know, what is your saturation point? When do you reach your apex? Then you begin to pace yourself. That means by the time you're doing 2.5 hours of intense work, then you probably need a break or you need a change or do something else so that you pace yourself. It's important. Pace yourself so that you do not lose momentum, you do not lose energy, you don't lose passion, and you do not begin to become mediocre at what you do. And again, it goes back to the foundation of where we started by talking about the plan. Because when you plan, you've got long-term plans and you've got mid-term plans. It's able for you then, and possible and easier for you then to begin to pace yourself and to know, because we have certain priorities which we've talked about, because we have these priorities, we will do this within the first quarter, we will do that in the second quarter, or we will do this in this week, and then next week we can do that. You can get to know that this particular season, I'm going to acquaint myself with the network, and then later on, I begin to pitch within that network, so you're not doing everything at the same time and not doing all the things right. Brings me to my sixth point, which is perfect everything that you've started. We've got people who start a lot, but they leave those things halfway, or they just don't do them well. Anything that you set out to do, do it with the most, do it with the best, do it with everything that you have. Perfect it. Don't just say, well, I'm pacing myself, so yesterday because I did A, today I will do B, and tomorrow C, yet none of them is done either well or done to completion. Perfect everything that you do. You are not going to create the balance that I talked about from the E to A to E theory by leaving everything half done. No, you've got to do it well. So everything that you do, and this is the purpose of execution in the place of pacing yourself, everything that you do it well. Do it with your best. It may never come back again. Put a signature of excellence to whatever you do. Put a signature of uniqueness to whatever you do. Put a signature of diligence to whatever you do. So that when you walk out of a season, a job, a place, a task, a meeting, you know that you have given your best to it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important for you to finish and to finish well. When you walk into a house or a building, if you want to buy that house, one of the things that you will talk about is the finishing. Because the outside of the house, the external may look very beautiful. If the finishing is not done well, that house is going to be cheap. Sometimes we focus so much on the external structure and not the finishing. The finishing actually eats up so much of the money for the person who will construct, because that's where the detail is. If you're going to perfect it, you're going to have to pay attention to detail. You have to pay attention to the little details that ordinary people don't pay. You've got to pay attention to the details that the mediocre person will not pay. As you do that, how is this related to balance? When you do your work well, you know you're not coming back to it. So you're actually freeing up your time. You know that once you were done with that job, once you're done with that proposal, once you're done with that pitch, once you're done with that presentation, it is done. There are too many people who have to keep on going back to things that they thought they had done and they didn't do well. So what happens is they have so much backlog of things that are not done well. Not doing it well and not doing it at all nearly puts you in the same space, because you've got to come back to it and do it. The frustration of having done it and not done it well is that mentally you're not prepared to start all over again, because psychologically you think you've been doing it, yet you've not done it well. It's important for you then, therefore, to know how to perfect the things that you have started. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, when you're doing all of these things, if you're going to create a balanced life for yourself, you need to know when to press the button called pause. That's my sixth nugget. You've got to know how to rest. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. There are times when you just need to have a breather, switch off your mind, switch off from work, just set yourself aside some time to rest. Take a walk, listen to music, go and sit in a place and just be quiet. Read something else that is not very mental. Laugh, crack a joke and have friends around you, because that is part of creating the balance in your life. That's all the time that I've had for you today on Wisdom Nuggets on K24 with Miss C.J Atemo. Till the next time.